Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 159 is out, so the entire chapter focused on characterizing and developing Higuruma Hiromi. He was introduced in the previous chapter, having 102 points so far in the culling game. In contrast to the other players like Hajime or Takaba, Hiromi is given a full chapter to explore his character. This makes me think that he will play a central role as one of the major antagonists in this story arc. We get Hiromi's backstory. He is a defense attorney who takes on difficult cases. Although he tries his best to prove that his clients are innocent, Japan has a 99.9% conviction rate. I did some research and this figure is actually true. So in Japan, if a criminal case goes to trial, the verdict will be guilty 99.9% of the time. Japan is also one of 53 countries in the world who still use capital punishment for serious crimes. From this chapter, it seems like Hiromi is not killing senselessly but is being driven by the injustices of the criminal system. I believe the author Akutami is providing some social commentary around the judicial system in Japan and how verdicts can be wrong on multiple occasions. In the chapter, Hiromi makes a distinction between lawyers and district attorneys. He states that district attorneys just have more funding and resources available compared to a normal lawyer. Therefore, it's not actually justice that wins, but it is who is able to spend more manpower and money on a case. In this chapter, Hiromi is investigating a double homicide. A district attorney has prosecuted a man named Keita, who is the prime suspect in this case. No one believes Keita is innocent other than Hiromi. This establishes him as an empathetic character and someone who has a deep sense of justice. Hiromi states that he has never been able to ignore something that he felt was wrong. The goddess of justice blinds herself to maintain equality, but Hiromi keeps his eyes open to help those who have been wronged by the system. Regarding Keita's case, the first trial was ruled as not guilty but was immediately appealed, and the second trial resulted in a guilty verdict and life in prison for Keita. From the start, the verdict of this case had been already decided. Previously, Hiromi took a case where the defendant had been driving under the influence because of his co-workers, and the verdict was guilty and he was sentenced to prison. So Hiromi has a history of taking on difficult cases, and because of the high conviction rate in Japan, the defendant always loses. As a result, Hiromi's clients express their frustrations directly to him and look at him with eyes of blame. The defendants blame Hiromi for losing the case, but in reality, it's the system that is broken. After years of working as a defense attorney and consistently losing cases, I believe this took a huge toll on Hiromi's mental health. No matter how hard he tried, he could not beat the system. I believe losing Keita's case was the final straw. Hiromi releases his cursed technique. When Kenjaku used idol transfiguration back in chapter 136, Hiromi awakened his curse technique, and it takes the form of a black being with its eyes forcefully stitched together. This being also has two scales for arms as a reference to the scales of justice. I believe Hiromi started taking justice into his own hands and started killing members of the court who he deemed corrupt. Based on the rules of the game, which are 1 point for non-sorcerers and 5 points for sorcerers, it's safe to assume Hiromi has killed at least a few dozen people. Hiromi is set up to be a multi-layered character, and I'm interested to see where Akutami takes this plot point. He also reminds me of Yuta. They both have the same baggy eyes and deadpan demeanor. Yuta is currently operating alone and is taking part in the culling game away from Tokyo. Hiromi is currently in the first colony of Tokyo and Hajime is in the second colony. I think Yuji and Megumi will split up and confront both of these characters in the upcoming chapters. But that's it from me. If you enjoyed this, leave a like, subscribe. Thanks for watching.